I'm starting this video off with a big smile because I'm going to be talking about some of my most favourite cards of all time from the Pokemon TCG. And you know what the added bonus is with these cards? They're still very underpriced and undervalued, therefore very affordable for your average collector, but still have plenty of room to grow in the future. Now why not play a little game? These are the 4 sets that contain this certain group of cards that are obviously all from the Sword and Shield era. If you want, pause the video, have a little think as to what cards I'm referring to, and as we move into that next clip, I'll show you just what I'm talking about. So here we are, and of course, yes, I'm talking about Trainer Gallery cards, which as you can see here, this is the Trainer Gallery card from Astral Radiance, and the other 3 sets that contain a Trainer Gallery set is Brilliant Stars right here, Lost Origin right here, as well as finally Silver Tempest right here. Today I just want to showcase a different mixture of various Trainer Gallery cards, ranging from some that have recently surged in price to show just how much potential they all have, as well as some other cards that are my personal favourite due to their artwork, and also a mixture of Trainer Gallery cards that maybe you can't get your hands on some of the cards that are trending right now in the Scarlet and Violet era, for example, that Kingdra EX promo from Shrouded Fable, or perhaps an evolution from Prismatic Evolutions. Trainer Gallery has it all, and I'm going to give you some options. So starting off strong, and as I just mentioned, referring to that Kingdra EX promo card from Shrouded Fable, which alongside its counterparting with the Greninja EX promo from the same set, have really taken off lately. Now, perhaps you don't want to spend money or that much money on one particular card, and you want the same Pokemon, but just as beautiful artwork, why not look to the Astral Radiance Trainer Gallery, where you have this beautiful Kingdra card right here. Now, if you watch my 10 under 5 video that I made the other day, you will know that I featured this, and actually, it kind of aged well, because as you can see here, it's no longer under $5. It's actually risen to $6.27 as of today. As you can see, over the last 3 months, it has risen over 135%. At its lowest was only a couple bucks back in November time. And as you can see, as we're now in the end of February, it's risen all the way over 135% to over $6. And I think it'll continue in that same vein. You've got a very strong Pokemon there in Kingdra, a strong set, an undervalued set in Astral Radiance. I think it's going to age really well, and this is just a fantastic card to pick up for such a low price. Moving on to number 2, and no, we're not looking at Surging Sparks. I'm just giving you an example of a really expensive card that maybe you want to add to your collection, but can't afford it because it's over $150. Why not look at a different version of Milotic in this one right here from the Silver Tempest Trainer Gallery, which goes for only $6. Yes, if you look at this card, it's fantastically beautiful. I adore the artwork in this card. It definitely rivals this one from Surging Sparks. They're different types of artwork, different styles, but in general, both to be admired. As you can see here, Milotic, as always, looking so elegant, so graceful, so beautiful. I love this Pokemon. One of my favorites from Generation 3. And as you can see, it's risen by almost 400% over the last 3 months. Yes, you could have picked this card up for only $1 a piece back in November, but it seems like Trainer Galleries are really picking up, right? And why not ride that wave? Why not pick them up while they're still very cheap? Add them to your collection while you can, because before long, in another year's time, these will probably be $20, $25, $30 a piece, and you're going to think, why didn't I pick them up when they've seen this video? So, Milotic, only $6. Go pick it up. Beautiful card, beautiful Pokemon, and a great addition to your collection. Moving on to our 3rd card, and I did mention before in the beginning, what if you want an evolution from Prismatic Evolutions, but you can't afford them? They're crazy, right? The prices for them. So again, let's look at the Trainer Gallery, this time from Brilliant Stars, and this is my favorite of the evolutions. If you're not aware, just a quick look at the Brilliant Stars Trainer Gallery. As you can see, you've got the Flareon there in the top corner. You've got Vaporeon next to it, you've got Jolteon here, you've got Eevee here as well, and you've even got a couple Sylveons, and even here you've got a couple Umbreon. So Brilliant Stars, if you're an evolution fan like me, is a fantastic set to hunt for a few different evolution cards in that Trainer Gallery. Now, moving back to that Vaporeon card, as you can see, really picking up lately over the last 6 months, risen by over 200%. You could have picked it up for only a few dollars back in sort of October, November time, but has really risen lately, probably kind of riding that wave of that hype around the evolution cards with Prismatic Evolutions, and it makes total sense, right? Again, it's a fantastically beautiful card. I love it. Vaporeon looking very cheerful there. Fantastic Pokemon. Still only $11, still very affordable for your average collector, and I really do recommend picking it up and adding it to your collection. Just quickly before we move on to the next card, guys, just a huge thank you as always for the continued support that you are all showing me on my channel. I just want you to know that it's greatly appreciated by me. So I just wanted to thank all of you for the support you're showing me. And also guys, if you are new here and you don't know who I am, I love to talk about the Pokemon TCG and I'll put out a new video every other day. Therefore, if this sounds like something you'd enjoy, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. And for all of you, if you are enjoying the video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, as it really does help me out. Another beautiful card that has really risen lately in price is this Altaria EX from Paradox Rift. As you can see, was sitting around $30 odd and has doubled in price in the matter of a few days really. Here you can see that huge spike. And again, with it being $65, maybe you don't want to pay that amount of money for an Altaria card. Maybe Altaria is your favorite Pokemon. So if that's the case, why not look here to the Silver Tempest Trainer Gallery? As you can see, Alicia there hugging her Altaria. What a fantastically beautiful card. Alicia in herself in her own right, being a very desirable character in the series and in the TCG as well. Of course, they have Liss's Appeal from Surging Sparks, which is a very, very highly desired card. As you can see, this is a beautiful card. You got both of them there in shot. And this card, again, you could have got it for under $1 only a few months ago. Under $1, yes, a matter of 90 odd cents, okay? It has risen by almost 400% in the last few months to almost $5. But what's $4.89, eh? It's a matter of a few dollars. Add it to your collection if you can. If you are a big Altaria fan, if you are a fan of Gen 3 Pokemon, if you're a fan of Alicia, for example, for whatever reason, or you're just a fan of beautiful cards, pick this one up, add it to your collection. $4 is absolutely nothing, and for sure has the potential to continue rising as it's part of a strong Silver Tempest set. Now, the final card I want to touch on for your alternatives, or this isn't really an alternative, it's actually one to kind of complement another card. And if you're not sure what I'm referring to and you don't know, the Journey Together set comes out next month. Now, this will feature this Ends Reshiram card right here, which for a long time has been featured. We've known about this card, we've seen the leaks, and it's a beautiful card, right? Look at it, look at all those colors, look at how majestic and elegant and beautiful that card is. And perhaps if you're getting Reshiram, maybe you want Zekrom to go alongside it, because if you don't know, if you haven't played the games, these two Pokemon go side by side. They're like Lugia and Ho-Oh, for example, right? So, as you can see, this isn't End Zekrom per se, it's not the title of the card like it will be with End's Reshiram. But yes, End does feature in the card, as you can see, riding Zekrom flying through the sky. Now, this card for a long time could have been picked up for only $1, $2, only a couple months ago. But perhaps with the news of Journey Together, with it coming out very shortly, it has shot up in value, and as you can see, over 500%, and now sits at almost $13. You know, I think it will slightly continue to rise as we near the release of Journey Together, as that set comes out. I wouldn't kind of put it past people wanting to pick up this card to put it alongside this Ends Reshiram, have them side by side in their collection, as I think they will complement each other really well. So this Zekrom card here, not End Zekrom, but just Zekrom on its own, fantastic addition to your collection, and still only $12, therefore very cheap, from a brilliant stars set, no pun intended. Just a beautiful card, and one I recommend picking up and adding to your collection. Now, I've highlighted some cheaper alternatives of some of your more common or more sought after cards right now in the TCG. That Altaria, that Kingdra, that Vaporeon. There's various examples that you can use, and showing you that the trainer gallery from those 4 Sword and Shield sets do have good examples of various alternatives for those sought after cards. But now I just want to dedicate a bit to have a look at your biggest risers, the cards that are really headlining the trainer galleries, and that are going to really push it in that northern direction, right? They're really going to raise the price of the sets and the other cards within the trainer gallery. Now, how can we not talk about the Starmie V card first when we're looking at your biggest movers and the best and most expensive cards from the trainer gallery sets? Now, if you're a fan of the TCG and you haven't seen this Starmie V card, I would be surprised, because it's probably the most talked about trainer gallery card of them all, probably the most appreciated. And as you can see here, very beautiful card, right? We're talking about a Gen 1 gym trainer in Misty, a Gen 1 Pokemon, and a strong one in Starmie, and a beautiful card in general. I love how that black border complements the bright blue colors of the water inside the card. Now, as you can see, was sitting at only $45. I say that in inverted commas because when you compare it to the big price of $100, it sounds relatively cheap, right? It's more than doubled in price over the last few months and has risen really sharply. If we look at the way that line goes up and how sharply it goes up, it's really risen a lot in the last couple months. And I think it will continue in that same vein. I think as we move more and more away from Sword and Shield, trainer galleries now starting to be appreciated more. I feel like this is only going to continue in that same vein. I'm not sure what the ceiling is for this card. I don't know. you can only go to a certain amount, right? I mean, well, in this market, you don't know, right? But I do think it's, in the end of the day, it's only a Starmie V, right? It's not, I don't know, it's not Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies, right? It's not Latias and Latios from Team Up, right? So, no, it's not going to be $1,000 card, but I still think it has quite a bit of room to grow. And in general, it's just a very beautiful card and really headlines the trainer gallery cards really well. Moving on to our second card of the biggest movers, or at least ones that I've found, and that's the Mimikyu VMAX, the Dynamax card. Again, from Brilliant Stars, my personal favourite of the 4 trainer galleries. We have another brilliant example of a big mover. Now, only a few months ago, only a $14, $15 card, really not doing much, plateauing here for quite a few months, and suddenly has shot up in value. As I said, we move further away from Sword and Shield, trainer gallery cards become more appreciated. Your VMAX cards from the trainer galleries are going to be the ones to rise first. They're kind of your harder pulls, your more sought after cards, right, from the Sword and Shield era. We know that. As you can see here, over 140% it's risen by, almost hitting $40 US. Again, I'm not sure what the ceiling is with this card. Has tailed off a little bit in the last few days. I don't think it'll rise too much more. Maybe it'll hit $50 in the future. But Mimikyu, not the most biggest fan favorite. It's not your Umbreon, it's not your Charizard, it's not your Pikachu, right? Therefore, it has its limitations, but still in general, a nice card and one that's really taken off in the last few months. Moving on to card number 3 of your bigger movers, and how could I not talk about my favorite Pokemon, Umbreon. Now, again, a Brilliant Stars card. This video is not an exclusive Brilliant Stars trainer gallery video. It's just simply Brilliant Stars is my favorite, and it has a lot of fantastic cards within it, as we're seeing here, right? Umbreon, of course, I don't think it's any coincidence that this card rose so much around the beginning of January, because that was just days before the release of Prismatic Evolutions. Therefore, I think there was a lot of hype there for the Evolution cards. We knew Prismatic Evolutions was an Evolution based set. Therefore, I think in general, there was a lot of hype around these type of cards, and therefore we've seen a big rise in this Umbreon V card. Now, as you can see, back in the latter part of 2024, you could have picked this card up for about $20, really quite cheap for an Umbreon card, and hit $50. And I think, although it's plateaued and it's dropped off a little bit lately, as you can see, did hit almost $58, dropped off a few dollars in the last few days, but I think it's not going to drop off back down to these prices, right? This will maintain its value somewhat, and I think give it time in the future as trainer gallery cards become more and more appreciated, will continue to rise. And I see this Umbreon V card being a $100 card. I really do one day. I think if this Starmie V here can be a $100 card, I really don't see why this Umbreon V card can't either. Move on to the final group of cards that I want to touch on. We first looked at cards that are brilliant alternatives for your more sought after cards right now in the TCG. Then we looked at some of your more expensive and bigger risers, your biggest movers in the trainer gallery cards. Now I just want to touch on cards that I simply love, right? Cards that I think are either brilliant Pokemon or brilliant artwork, very cheap, and simply a brilliant additions to your collection. First card I want to talk about is Crobat. Now, if you know, you know, if you were back there in the day, played Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 on the Game Boy, you'll know that Zubat was just way too common, right? He was so annoying. It'd always pop up in the caves. Every other Pokemon battle you run into, it's Crobat, and it just becomes so tedious, right? And therefore you generated a bit of a hate for that Pokemon. Now as an adult, and if you've done Nuzlocke or challenge runs of Pokemon games, I'm sure you're probably going to know what I'm talking about. Crobat is an absolute lifesaver for Nuzlocke runs. He's a brilliant Pokemon, right? He's a very, very strong Pokemon, and one that I think myself and a lot of the Pokemon community underappreciate in the games. Now I don't want to talk about too much about the games. It's a bit of a tangent. We're here to appreciate the cards and the TCG. But my point being, I have kind of an appreciation for Crobat and this card because of how much I love him in the games nowadays. Now, I love the artwork of this card. I love how mean and menacing that Crobat looks. I love the blur aspect around Crobat to kind of give a feel of how fast he's moving. If you don't know, Crobat has one of the highest base stats for speed in the game, one of the quickest Pokemon there is. Fantastic Pokemon, right? Look, only $6. I think this is a beautiful card. Purple is actually my favorite color as well, which gives me even more love towards this Pokemon. But you've got a plethora of other colors in there. I've said before how I love the black border of the V cards. You've got blues, greens, sort of brownie oranges, yellow in there. You've got red. You've got a plethora of colors, and I love how it all comes together. I love the art style of the card. And for $6, you can't go wrong, right? It's one that's going to look brilliant in your binder alongside some other V cards. As you can see, you could have got this card for only a few dollars a couple months ago. It's pretty much doubled in value from $3 or so to sit over $6. I think it's, again, we're not here to kind of look at cards that are going to fly in value. These are ones I just want to appreciate for how they look. So we're probably not going to rise too much more than $10 or $15. I wouldn't expect that, to be honest with you. But just one that's very cheap and just a fantastic addition to your collection. Moving on to another card that I really recommend for its artwork is this Serperior V card here. One of the best grass type starters there is, in my most humble opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. Let me know in the comments. You can argue with me in there. That's absolutely fine. But again, we're looking at another V card with that black border. It really makes the bright colors within the card pop because of how dark that black border is, which I really appreciate and love. I love this card. I love the way Serperior, alongside its trainer here, the background of the volcano, the clouds, the hills, towns there in the background, the greens in the foreground of the grass. What a brilliant, brilliant card. Now, one that has actually risen a bit more than that Crobat we just looked at before, but still, in my opinion, relatively cheap for a starter Pokemon, a V card. Only $17. It's one you could have picked up for only $5 a couple months ago. Again, really telling a story of how underappreciated trainer gallery cards once were, but are really starting to pick up now, as I think people are starting to appreciate how strong these cards are. Serperior V, probably a card that I think could easily be $30. This could easily double in value. $17, yes, more expensive than that Crobat, but still, in the grand scheme of things, relatively cheap. When you look at cards like the Umbreon, the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions going for like 2,000 raw, you look at this for only $17 and why not? It's pretty cheap still, right? And this is just a fantastic addition to your collection. And finally, to give you one more card that I think is still very cheap in the grand scheme of things, especially for the Pokemon that it is, and one that I really recommend picking up, is this Gengar here from the Lost Origin Trainer Gallery. This is a beautiful card, right? I love the way Gengar menacingly laughing there. He looks like he's just ruined someone's day and is very happy about it, but that's Gengar for you, right? He just wants to play, he loves it. Fantastically beautiful card, there's a lot going on in there. Lost Origin as well, a fantastic set, which bodes well for this card, right? And I think it's going to continue to rise over the next kind of few years, really. As you can see, could have been picked up for only $3.90 only a few months ago, which is nothing for a Gengar card. Let's not forget, we're talking about Gengar here, one of the fan favorite Pokemons, a Gen 1 Pokemon as well, right? Fantastic Pokemon, only $15. $15 for a beautiful Gengar card is absolutely nothing. I really see this card being $45, $50 in the future. Give it a year or so, let Lost Origin age well, which is going to, it's a fantastic set. Let Trainer Gallery cards become more appreciated. I already think we'll see Gengar being a fan favorite Pokemon really start to rise in the future. And again, guys, $15, just like I said with that Serperior, it's relatively cheap in the grand scheme of things. You've got cards going for thousands nowadays. What's $15? I really recommend picking this card up and adding it to your Trainer Gallery card collection. So guys, that concludes the cards we're going to look at for today. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the artwork of these cards, of their prices, of Trainer Gallery cards in general, and also where you think they'll be in the future. I always love to talk about things with you guys, and I'm always interested to hear just what you guys think. As I said at the beginning of the video, these are some of my all-time favorite types of cards, these Trainer Gallery cards. They're beautiful, right? They really are, and I still think there's a lot of room for growth for a lot of them. They're very, very underappreciated in general as a group, and I think therefore they're quite undervalued, a lot of them as well. We're talking about strong Pokemon here. We're talking about Evolutions for a matter of a few dollars, or Gengar, one of you, an all-time fan favorite, for only $15. What are we doing here? These are so undervalued, and therefore I think there's a lot of room for growth in the future, and therefore get them while you can, guys. Don't sleep on things. It's so easy to look at something after it shot up in value and think, you know what, why didn't I pick that up when it was a third of the price only last week? Pick these cards up while you can. Why the Kingdra's only $6? Why Gengar's only $15? Don't sleep on them and think, yeah, I'll get it tomorrow or next week. They're so cheap right now. And I think it's only a matter of time before the community kind of wakes up, so to speak, and realizes just how beautiful these cards are and how undervalued they really are. Anyway, guys, thank you so much if you're still watching. I really do massively appreciate your support. And as always, guys, if you have enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to leave a like. It really does help me out. And if you are new here, as I mentioned before, guys, if you like the sound of a new video every other day with the Pokemon TCG, feel free to hit that subscribe button up there. Or if you want to watch another video of mine, guys, where I talk about the new Destined Rivals set and why I think give it some time, let it shape up to be one of the best sets from the era, you can watch that video right here. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been PokeCharlotte, and I'll catch you in the next one.